afternoon, teacher. We are going to talk about the history of language.
The theory of human language will perhaps remain forever obscure. By contrast, the origin of individual languages has been the subject of very precise study over the past 2 centuries. There are about 5,000 languages spoken in the world today, a third of them in Africa, but scholars group them together into relatively few families, probably less than 20. Languages are linked to each other by shared words or sound or grammatical construction. The theory is that the members of each linguistic group have descended from one language, a common ancestor. In many cases, the original language is judged by the expert to have been spoken in surprisingly recent times, as little as a few thousand years ago. Talking about linguistic evolution, the ongoing struggle between languages is the process very similar to evolution. A word like a gen will travel and prevail according to the usefulness. A word fitness to survive may derive from being attached to a desirable new invention or substance, or simply from being an amusing or useful concept.
Good afternoon, teacher. My name is Jocelyn Lascano. I explain the English language. The English language existed was with approximately the Germanic people of the times. The language didn't have the same sound as the current one. That is why it is now unintelligible. That is, it is cannot be understood by the speakers taught or who are learning the language because it has a different grammar. For example, um, in English, mother is mother and father, and only English is mother and father. Is different grammar. All English still has a three garden of four Indo-European, masculine, feminine, and neuter. Each noun belongs to one and three gardens will adjectives and determinants take different forms and depending on the gender or the nouns they describe. Example, in masculine, the word he or it in all English in masculine is she. In feminine in all English is zio. And neuter in all English is bad. Thank you. 5th century and has been evolving. It is a grammatical and dialect forms. The Old English, the Anglo-Saxon dialects today, how as English was the basic language spoken of the German people all the times. The language did not have the same sounds as the current one, and that is why it is now as
Good afternoon, teacher and classmates. My name is Taira Chuchilan, and I'm going to talk about Middle English and the Great Vowel Change. The Middle English is an intermediate stage in the evolution of the English, lasting from about 1115 to 1500. Middle English had big change as it is in vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, and spelling. During the Middle English period, several Old English grammatical features were disproved or disapproved. uh, altogether. As is the inflational of noun, adjective, adverb, were simplified by reduction. Okay. Uh, According to graph vowel change, it started between for, 1400 and 1700. It was a change in the pronunciation of the English language. Also, uh, today, although the change that exists, the pronunciation of all the long vowels of the Middle English it was changed. Also, some consonant sounds were changed or eliminated. Uh, it is said these are not cause of the graph change of vowels. These change were during the 15th and 16th century. Thank you.
Good afternoon, teacher. My name is Alexander Pacari. Now I'm going to explain modern English. The modern English is from of the English language spoken. Since the great vowel shift, it is spoken from about 1800 present date. Modern English is divided into the two phases: early modern English and late modern English. The big difference between those two phases lies is it is vocabulary. The pronunciation, grammar, and spelling didn't not changing a lot. Now, the next no, present day, the English language nowadays it is still changing and growing and explaining to new slang, technologies, toys, foods, and cases. According to one research, English is explained by over 8,500 words per year. At the beginning of the 20th century, it was estimated that English only increased with around 1,000 words per year. Okay, the next history, let modern English cater many more words. As a result of two main historical factors, the Industrial Revolution and the rise of the British Empire. During the Industrial Revolution, many words were needed things that not existed before. And during the rise of the British Empire, English adopted many foreign words and made them its own. But I am not going into details.
Good afternoon, teacher. I am Noemi Guaita and I am going to talk about the influence of French in English language. So, after a Norman invasion of Britain by France in 1066, English language had several modifications because it had two important factors. The first one is bilingualism in England since Norman invasion, and the second one is English culture was considered inferior. So the most influence of French in English language are the Norman English marriages because one of them need to learn or to know the new language. So due to the inviters introducing new things into the daily life of English, they need to create some words and vocabulary, also the meaning, to know about the language. Here we have some examples about that. In the legal field we have judge and verdict. In the religious field we have sarcasm and baptism. In the military field, we have army, soldiers, and captain. In the food, we have pork, beef, and so on. And in the art, we have music, figure, and more. So, talking about change of syntax, the influence of French modify the addition of the S and Z to form the plural verbs, in addition to the ed to form past verbs.
Good afternoon, teacher. My name is Natalia Sicha. I am going to talk about the influence of Latin on English. Every word formation patterns and word elements were adopted into Latin and carried over from Latin to English and mainly European language. English that have influenced the Latin. In total, this word represent about 85% of the English vocabulary. In modern use, mainly for academic and technological purposes, English and Latin are members of the Indo-European language family, where English belongs to the Germanic branch and Latin belongs to the Italy branch. Latin has been present in influencing the English language since its inception, but this has happened indirectly. Latin not only influence the Old English language indirectly but also directly. The Latin influence on the English language has proven to be present. Latin has been present continuously in both Latin and English. Come from Indo-European origin, which means that both belong to the same family, sharing writing, and this can be evidence in words that express very similar ideas between speakers, but the speech from this is developed is divided into two language groups and different groups. For example, Germanic, which is on the side of English, and Italic. In the case of Latin, is not possible to establish a precise date when Latin began to influence English, but it is not that will develop before English become an independent language. Several words are the sum of the phonemes and borrowing. An example of the Latin influence are the following words. In the category of myths, we have archetypes. This will result in Antichrist. In the category of medicine, we have paralysis. This word result in paralysis. Another example is physical. We have atom. This word result atom. Another example is category. Psicología. We have conflict. This word result complement. Thank you, teacher. This all.